Okay, good morning, everyone. We are at Pop Century Resort. You can see behind me, we're in the 70s section. Now, if you have never been to Pop Century is a Disney Value Resort. It is themed after the first half of the 20th century. The second half of the 20th century. A little early in the morning here. Just getting out of bed and out and at 'em. So we are, like I said, Pop Century Resort, themed after the second half of the 20th century. So the sections of the resort are the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s section. They all have the iconic, stereotypical things that you would have seen in that decade. Like, as you can see, no, you can't see. I'll take you down here. We'll see the coverings of the stairwell are covered by the big iconic Good morning.
Morning.
So you can see the behind us, the stairwell covering is covered by a huge 8-track cassette. We're in the 70s section, so 8 tracks was the main mode of getting your music back then. And around the resort, there's large, huge, like 2 and 3 story characters of Mickey and Goofy and Minnie and Donald and other things that would have been around during the respective decades. Like over here in the 70s section, I'll spin you around here, we'll have a look. See, we have like the Mr. Potato Head, and you look down in the 80s section in that. The stairwell covering there is a Rubik's Cube. In our main courtyard between the two buildings, in our section, in the 70s section, we have a dancing dude that says "Get Down," and polyester, and do the hustle. And what's this one say? So it's hard to read. The trees are covering. I still can't read it. I have to walk over here. Yeah, anyway. So this game of Twister with the seats for the little kids to sit, and then they play the Twister on the thing. A foosball court sitting in the middle. You can see the entrance to the elevators, and this building's marked by a big wheel. This one's marked by a Mickey phone. Just like iconic things from the classic 70s here. That's a good word, the classic 70s. So this is the main hall. And there's the 50 section, and that has the stairwell coverings as the yo-yos. And the 50 section has the main pool over here, which is closed. Right now it doesn't open till 10, but I think even then it may not open due to the temperature. I see a notice today on our app that see a notice on the app that Blizzard Beach was closed today because of the temperature. So it's probably not going to get that a whole lot warmer today. Today is a good day to go shopping for your Spirit jersey or your hoodie if you're looking to buy one of those for Disney merch. So yeah. And then you look over there, there's the 60s section, the 50s section, with the bowling pin covers. And this is the 60s section here. I might have said 50s earlier. I meant 60s here. And you can see the sayings, 60 sayings up on top of the thing with the peace and petals. And that's what this is. This is the Hippy Dippy pool, which is the main pool for the main pool for the resort is here at the Hippy Dippy pool in the 50s section. And there's two other pools, one in the 80s, and that's shaped like a computer. It's called the computer pool. And over here in the 50 section, sorry, I keep getting them confused. 50 section, there's a bowling pin pool, so shaped like a bowling pin. Okay, anyway, into the main classic hall, it's called. And you can see every resort has their own respective mats as you go in. Make them unique. So, best thing about Pop Century is the music in the hall. You get the music from the 50s through to the 90s. So let's take a look around the lobby. This has just been renovated, newly renovated. Just got fully done maybe a month or two ago. There used to be shadow boxes on the wall to represent all the toys and fads and stuff like that happened through these decades. But now they've taken all the shadow boxes. They've given the. Oh, I didn't see this last night. You see this nice big long mat. Really cool. I like that. So it's got the little Pop Century mat, and then it's got a huge pedals, and it's got a disco ball and some Mickeys. Yeah, that's nice. Nice touch. So over here used to be a concierge desk section kind of thing. So they've taken that out. Now they got just a family area you sit. Your laptop out. You can book your next trip here. Sit down, fill out your bounce back thing, and get your next trip booked. Little maps and stuff of each of the parks, Disney Springs, and waiting area for check-in, check-out, place to sit and stay out of the way. So yeah, they replaced all the shadow boxes on the wall, and they have just a big mural. Donald up there with his headphones on, his cell phone, circa early 90s, cassette tapes, which is what I grew up with in the 80s, boombox, roller skates, disco ball. So it's still got some like iconic things from each decade up there. They just don't have it in the shadow boxes with the actual item in there. Because before the shadow boxes had, I'll see if I can find a picture that I have from the past trips and put it in this video. And then here's Daisy. She's got sunglasses and petals, flower petals from the 50s type thing. And then we have Minnie, and have classic cars from the 50s and 60s, bowling pins, some of the first TVs. They're just all kinds of iconography on the wall. As you come into the main hall, we came in over here. That's how you get to the shortest route to the resort rooms. And you come in Classic College. You come in from drop off from the bus. Well, back when you could come on the Magic Express. But if you come by Uber or whatever, it's going to drop you off down there at that entrance. And then as you come out here, here's the main merch shop for Pop Century. Here at Everything Pop Shop and Dining. And there's a meal hall. We'll go into the meal hall shortly. And out here is transportation. So this is where you go to catch your bus to any of the parks. Well, not any of the parks. Sorry, you can only catch the bus now to Magic Kingdom, Animal Kingdom, and Disney Springs, and whatever water park open, Blizzard Beach or Typhoon Lagoon. So this will be a popular one today with the sweatshirts. Nice looking sweatshirts, and you may need them today. Some Loungeflies, Monsters Inc., Nice. And a nice long sleeve Mickey. So, okay, well, let's brave the crowd and head into the meal hall and grab some coffee. Now, the meal hall has also been redone since we were here last. I think we were last here staying in 2021. Breakfast, the waffle bounty platter hasn't changed, that's for sure. That's a go-to. Tacho bowl and the Mickey cinnamon roll. So, pastries over here, specialty coffees, freshly brewed Joffreys, that's nice. So we're gonna make our way over here to the, we go in, so you can see Pop Century's a lot of guests, a lot of cheer groups, dance groups, sports groups stay here because it is a value resort and it's good bang for your buck. We got a really good deal on the rooms with the annual pass holder discount this year. So now we are going to acquire some coffee, which is one of my favorite stations at any Disney resort. So here we go. Oh, first we got to do our, I don't know that I need it today, but still got to put a little bit of ice in our coffee. Just a little bit of ice in our coffee. There we go. Oh. There we go. The elixir of life. So yeah, so let's walk out front to the buses and I'll show you where the bus is. So again, you make your way out of the meal hall to the So yeah, make your way to the meal hall, and you can even through the, oh, let me show you over here. Through the, instead of going out through the lobby to get to the buses, you can come right out through the store. They got a little sliding door out here that takes you even closer to the buses. So as you can see, Magic Kingdom, some people are headed. Hollywood Studios, Epcot, they all have, even the Hollywood Studios at Epcot stations have, or even those locations have bus stations here. That's what I'm trying to say. Even those locations have bus stations here because sometimes when the wind's up or lightning in the area, they can't run the Skyliner, so they run buses on a temporary basis. So yeah, so you can see, I'll show you what the front of the resort looks like. Spin you around so you can see the bus stations. And see the Pop Century, colorful, huge Pop Century things down here. So here we have, so that's going into the Classic Hall lobby area. From the buses, that's where you'll go if you want to go to the lobby and not go through the store. You can just flip through there. That takes you to the lobby, and you can see as I pull back a bit here. Here's the parking. Yeah. The sections have, this is the 50s and 60s parking. As you go down, there's more parking closer to the 80s and 90s section, so you don't have to walk so far. So you see the 50s, 1960s. If you can pull back, I could pull back farther, but this is good. 1970s, 1980s, and then the 1990s. So they have the big, as you come in, I can't get out to show you that, but that's the big Pop Century logo over there, big sign to let you know where you are. It's no mistake where you are when you haul in. It's, like I said, it's in your face Disney theming. It's done really well. Last night when we checked in, and Bell Services, drop your luggage off here to hold if you're going to the parks and leaving later the day, or they deliver it here. Or if you're checking in, you can leave here if your room's not ready. So if you're just arriving from you drop off, or maybe the Disney Magical Express comes back and you ride from there. This is kind of what you see. This is kind of what you get in your doors, and then bam, Disney. Oh, I didn't look in this little thing on the wall. The kids are. There are no kids in here, so we can have a look. So there's a TV, and there's all kinds of TV murals up here with all the famous Disney movies and Pixar movies. Nice. So yeah, I love the music in here. And of course it smells like Pop Century. The smells too at Disney. It's not just the sounds, the sights, the smells. They get you with the smells. Stuff that you just equate it. That's the Pop Century smell. Or you walk in the Polynesian, that's the Polynesian smell. Or the Beach Club has its own smell. We're at Animal Kingdom, it has its own smell. So again, as you come out of the main hall, you look straight ahead, there's the Hippy Dippy pool, which I see lifeguards here. I can't imagine they're opening that pool at 9 o'clock, cold as it is. They have to be below safe temperatures. Somebody's got shorts and a t-shirt on, so okay. So we're gonna take a walk down. Just changed my mind on the fly here. I'm gonna take a walk down. Show you the pool bar. Here's the pool bar, Pedals pool bar. Goes in conjunction with, and it has the overnight outdoor mug refill 24-hour drink station, so you can even come any time of night and use that. The pool bar doesn't have to be open. But yeah, the pool bar, laundry facilities, you can do your laundry. So you can see the big elevator markers of the big 3-story figures from different movies, different Disney characters. So over there, Blue Mogwai from the Jungle Book. Over here, a big can of Play-Doh. So yeah, so this is the 50s section here. You can see the peace, love, happiness, all the sayings on they're in yellow in color, so you know that each section has its own colored theme. So the 50s is yellow. Sorry, 60s. I keep calling it the 50s. It's the 60s, as you can tell by the peace, love, and happiness. So there's the Pedals pool bar, and then there's a little splash pad over here. Pedals pool bar, and then the Hippy Dippy pool here. And then over here's a little splash pad for the kids to play. Now this resort in 2018, our first year we stayed here, that's when they did their first refurb of the rooms, and they took out the 2 double beds and they put in a Murphy bed. So it makes room, because back then we had 4 people, so the Murphy bed was down the whole time. But now that we only got 2 people, the Murphy bed folds up and it turns into like a table. So for 2 people, it's a big room for 2 people, or bigger room. It's not as big as what we had at Animal Kingdom Lodge, but it's still big. So you can see everybody fancy sweatshirts and jackets and whatnot headed to the park still. Cold weather. So as you can see, Skyliner. There's a Skyliner station over here. And you can see the Skyliners going out over Hourglass Lake, headed towards Caribbean Beach, where they'll disembark over there and head to either Hollywood Studios or Epcot. Or maybe they're just going to stop at Caribbean Beach and have a meal, or head to the Riviera and have a meal. And the Riviera has 3 good restaurants that are worth going to, and it's on the Skyliner loop, so it doesn't take you that long to get there. So anyway, we'll walk around the outside here. So again, 60s. And as you walk around the path around the resort, you see little historical facts from each of the decades. That's one about Thurgood Marshall in 66, Clean Water Restoration Act in 66, or Thurgood Marshall in 67, sorry. So yeah. So in this outside path also serves as a running trail, and it goes right around to Art of Animation and loops around the whole outside of Hourglass Lake is your running path. So it's pretty wide. It's, I don't know, what, 12 feet wide. With room for people to walk, and you can still run without having to navigate too many other people. And of course, all the way around the resort, you got little signs telling you which way to go to get to certain things. You want to go 50s this way, 60s that way, Classic Hall, Hippy Dippy Pool that way. So, like I said, there's the big bowling pins. And you look in the 50s, there's some of the icons on the railings is little records and transistor radios and all kinds of stuff like that. And in 1961, Chubby Checker had to hit the twist and set off a dance craze. It did, and it's still going today. So here we go into the 50s. They're going back in time. Alaska and Hawaii became states in the 50s. So as we walk around, still look out at Hourglass Lake. It is chilly. But you get out here where the wind's blowing off the lake, and warning when you're walking around, even though this is Disney property, it's well maintained and it's well surveilled. There are signs. It is still outdoors and it is still Florida, and there are still snakes and alligators and a lot of squirrels. There he goes. He's in there. A lot of squirrels. But yeah, snakes and alligators are a real thing in Florida. Oh, there's a rabbit, a bunny rabbit. See if we can catch up with him. He's in the 50s. So let's take a walk through the 50s section and see what it looks like. See the stairwell covers of the bowling pins. So this is the main courtyard for the 50s section. And you can see they got the bathrooms for the pool. And because it's a bowling pin pool, they have it like a shoe rack. Your bowling shoes. So that is your bathroom and change area for that. So you got the big iconic jukebox. And over there you got Lady from Lady and the Tramp and Tramp over on that side. I think we stayed over in this building here, Tramp building. Which I think is building 3. Maybe it's building 1 though. So here's the bowling pin pool. Also pretty cold. So yeah. And there's Lady and the Tramp. So that's fun. And there's the doghouse. Okay, so we're coming out of the 50s section. And then we headed towards the hall again. So we'll walk as if you're going from the 50s over to the 70s. So we started on the Skyliner side of the 50s, and now we're on the main hall side of the 50s. Oh, we're back at the meal hall. And so as you exit the meal hall, you're going to the 70s. You're heading to the left of the Hippy Dippy pool. Maybe we can make crafts today, make our tie-dye shirt. Okay, so we're going to the 70s this way. And this is where our room is located. Where we started the video. And you can see the 8-track coverings like we showed you when we first left the room. So there's the 8 tracks. And down there the big wheel and the big Mickey. As you can see, they have the little photo thing with Goofy. So we got the big photo thing with Goofy and the Corvette over here. That Corvette has been here a long time. She's got some scratches. She's got some paint issues. Tires are still holding up, but yeah, that's been there a long time. So I think she'll need some work done before she's road ready. So there's a directory if you need to see where you're going. Let's go over and have a look at the directory. So just to the left side of the meal hall as you come out, the doors, get a little directory to figure out where you're going. Okay, we are back, continuing with our tour of Pop Century. Just had to take a little quick stop at the room, put in a grocery order, get some water, case of water, and just some M&Ms and some bananas to have for snacks in the room. So, okay, we started our journey down in the 50s, 60s, and 70s sections. And we're staying in the 70s section. See it behind us? Right there. 70s section. And now we're headed down, look this way behind us, down to the 80s section. You from Nova Scotia? Oh, are you? Me too. Okay, just a fellow Nova Scotian walking by. Look at that, in Florida. Okay, so we will spin around. So we're on this end of Hourglass Lake. And this end of Hourglass Lake takes you into the 80s section. 1984, Los Angeles hosts the Olympic Games. Remember them well. Okay, so into the 80s section we go. We see the big, larger-than-life Mr. and Mrs. Potato Head. Let's do the same thing. Let's take a walk around the outside of the resort for now. So 86. Made for a Super Bowl ad. I think they're well over $1 million now. As is the federal budget, way over $2 trillion. 88. Fox phones are $1,200 and a compact 286 laptop is $5,399. That same laptop power now would be surpassed 15,000 times by your cell phone now in computing power. I just made that number up, but Lord knows it's close. Okay, so that's the 80s. If you kept going on the path, you're going to loop around and you're going to go to Art of Animation. So you'll switch resorts totally, and which we'll do that a little later. But here we go. Oh, we actually got sun peeking through, so the day may be looking up as far as weather goes. So into the 80s, this was our first hotel we stayed at. And we stayed in Building 9, our first trip to Walt Disney World, which is obviously our first trip to Pop Century. And we stayed in the 80s section. I remember going in the computer pool, and I can remember the Brazilian tour group gathering out here every morning before they headed out to their park adventures. What a group. Holy smokes. There's a lot of kids. They took up, every building seemed to have 15 or 30, 40, 50 rooms just filled with kids and supplies. But the Brazilian tour groups, they cycle kids through here all summer. So anyway, here we got Roger Rabbit on this one. And as I showed you the stairwell coverings are Rubik's Cubes. This one is the Sony Walkman, which everybody had one of those in the 80s. And the nice row hedges here lining the pathways between the buildings. And as I told you before, this pool is shaped like a computer. So here on the ground is all the keys, which is the keyboard section, and the pool itself is the screen. Ingenious. What a concept. And then over there's floppy disks and hard drives. And you can see the to the max, radical, totally awesome. I can't tell what that is, but breakdancing, yuppies, and for sure. Yeah, the 80s was fun. That was my coming of age decade where I grew up. So this is some nostalgia for me. So everything is very familiar. Roger Rabbit, coolest Disney movie of the day. And everybody had a Sony Walkman strapped to your hip when you went jogging or walking around school, around the pool. So the two buildings, I said earlier, every section had 3 buildings. Well, this one doesn't. This has 2 buildings. And the third building is the totality of the 90s section. Because, so the 80s started with Sony Walkmans and breakdancing and Pac-Man. Oh, Pac-Man, that's his little Pac-Man ghost. And the Pac-Man pellets that you're eating, there's Pac-Man himself. That was a big thing in the 80s, definitely, when I was a kid. So anyway, and then the computer age leads itself right into the 90s, which is this blue building back here. So the third building in the 80s section is actually the totality of the 90s section. And it has a cell phone as its cover over there, and then the big computer as its elevator marker. So yeah, so the 80s and 90s are 3 buildings together. Entrance to the pool over here. So yeah, the 90s launched us into the home computer age, where everybody had a computer, everybody had a cell phone. Cell phones back then were a little more cumbersome to carry around than they are now, and they were actually only phones. That's all you could do with them was call. And then they slowly became computers by themselves. So there's the 80s, rollerblades, CDs, compact discs. So yeah, whatever, surf the net. So yeah, that was the 90s and 80s. More Pac-Man, more breakdancing. Yeah, so this 80s, 90s section has the pool. The 50s section has the pool. And then the 60s/70s are the closest ones to the Hippy Dippy pool. But yeah. But yeah, Pop Century and all the value resorts, really, the All-Stars as well. The theming is over the top. Art of Animation theming over the top. Even more so than here, because they have all the classic Disney characters sections. Toy Story, Lion King, Little Mermaid, Finding Nemo. So they have all the characters there. So yeah, so I think this is how we did it. We came down this building. When we came out of our building, we came around the backside of here. And we found our way to the parking lot, which is out here. We didn't have a car, but we found our way to the parking lot. And then we proceeded to, yeah, we just followed the pathway to the main building up here. Now, we cut across the parking lot because we were a little bit lazy, but be careful if you do this, because there can be cars coming, and there's a lot of cars parked here, so cars moving around the parking lot. It's supposed to be going slow, but they might have trouble seeing you if you're peeking and running out from behind the parked vehicle. So safety first around Disney. So you make your way from the 80s, follow the pathway, and you come into the back end of the There is a crosswalk up here that we will use. Obviously, that's a delivery section for Pop Century. So there's going to be big trucks coming in ahead of here. So if you're using this route, keep your head on a swivel. Watch, look both ways before crossing the street, kids. Yeah. And then you are at the arcade. So a lot of people heading to Disney Springs today. That's probably a wise decision. Find something good to eat over at Disney Springs. You can go schmooze around the shops. And today's a good day to go shopping for some long sleeve attire. And maybe that pair of sweatpants you've been looking at to wear around the resorts. Because it is windy and chilly. The sun is not even putting a dent in the coldness I'm feeling from the wind. So Magic Kingdom bus doesn't deter. The cold doesn't deter. The crowd is still piled in to go to Magic Kingdom. So it's gonna be a chilly day at Magic Kingdom, especially if the rain strikes. Holy smoke, will it ever be cold if it rains on you today? Last 2 days with the temperatures, you could stand the rain, but boy, you would freeze today if you got wet out at the parks. Splash Mountain would not, or Splash Mountain, sorry, taking a step back in time. Tiana's Bayou Adventure would not be the ride to be on this morning, that's for sure. I bet the wait times there is down. Okay, back into the main building, Classic Hall. We are, oh, hey, look at some of these hats over here. We didn't get a proper look around at all the merch here. Just Classic had that pink one. My wife would like that, I think. These are kind of kids' hats. The classic Walt Disney World one, I think we might go with that. I don't like the brown or the jean colors. I think I'm just gonna go with the classic Disney World hat. Wish I could find something a little more non-generic. But those are the best looking hats for sure. Walt Disney World. So I think that was the price tag on those. They're probably $29.99. Oh, $36.99. Wow, okay. Maybe we'll look around Disney Springs. But yeah, it is a good day to look at Spirit jerseys and long sleeve pullovers and hoodies like this. A zip up hoodie. That wouldn't be a miss today to wear that. Here's that golf shirt again that we see at Animal Kingdom Lodge. My son might like that. And a jacket. Walt Disney World. Oh, I like that. That's kind of classic. Simple. Just the Disney logo. I like that. It's a classic coffee cup. I like that. That would be a good office coffee cup. More coffee cups down here. I'll be your mini. Those are cool. I wonder if there's something on the other side. Nope, still says I'll be your mini. And more coffee cups back here. What do we got here? The standard character series. Got Genie. Mrs. Potts down there. Walt Disney World, the colorful ones there. So all the same stuff you see at all the resorts. So I'm gonna hang out here for a bit, maybe grab a little bit of breakfast, wait for our DoorDash order, see how that's progressing. We are, yeah, Pop Century. Snap a few pictures around. The Dasher has checked out, so they're going to be en route shortly. We'll grab our stuff and we'll hang out until he shows up. Estimated time is still not a specific estimated time. We got a window of half an hour, 10:50 to 11:25, so anywhere between half an hour and an hour. So yeah, I like the bowling pins. I like to have one of those. Okay, we are gonna go look at something to eat and refill on the coffee. So that's just a little quick look around Disney's Pop Century. Might do this as a separate vlog from our daily vlog that we're trying to put out for our day 3 adventure, which will take us to whatever park we're going to today. Maybe Hollywood Studios, or maybe Disney Springs, don't know. We still haven't decided. It's pretty cold, so maybe we do the shows at Disney's Hollywood Studios. That would keep us indoors a fair bit more. Do Tower of Terror, maybe. Rides like that. Slinky Dog might be down today. I mean, it might be wait times down. Not down as in not operating. Wait times down. But anyway, we'll see what the day holds. This will probably be just our little tour around Pop Century vlog. Do a little Art of Animation version. A little bit maybe later today. I don't know. Maybe tomorrow. But as a separate vlog, we'll take a walk around Art of Animation. Ride the Skyliner. Get a little video on the whole trip around the Skyliner. But yeah, let's go refill the coffee and grab a little something to eat and pick up our DoorDash order. We'll catch up with you later.